What's the most used man-made material on Earth? I'll give you the answer. Concrete. This is the Concrete Logic Podcast. Have you ever stopped to think about the sidewalks, driveways, bridges, or the buildings around you? They're all made from concrete. So why don't we discuss it more? In each episode of Concrete Logic, we'll explore a unique concrete-related topic with the help of industry professionals shaping the trade's future. We'll talk with suppliers, contractors, architects, engineers, specialists, and even proponents of competing materials. We'll get their views on concrete and their visions for its future. So get ready to mix things up with Concrete Logic, where we turn the spotlight on the material that's everywhere but often overlooked. This is the Concrete Logic Podcast. And now, here's your host, Seth Tandit.
And welcome to another episode of the Concrete Logic Podcast. And today I have Concrete Adamus back with us. Jon Belkowitz is back on the show, and today we're going to talk about concrete maturity method, what we get wrong about the concrete maturity method specifically. So stick with us, learn what the maturity method is and what we do not do correctly. But before we get into the topic at hand, I just want to share with you how you can help the podcast. If you enjoy the podcast, get some value out of it, please share it with a colleague or coworker. The next thing you can do is if you go to concretelogicpodcast.com, there's a couple ways you can get a hold of me. One is at the top, there's a navigation menu, and there's an Ask Seth option on there. If you click on that, it opens up an email form. And what we're looking for are topic or guest suggestions. So folks, a lot of the episodes are folks reaching out, suggesting topics or suggesting guests. So that's what we're looking for, some suggestions. Not telling you I'm going to take it, but, or use it. But it's got to be something concrete related and something you want to learn about. All right?
No climate change?
Oh, yeah. If you want to talk about climate change, we can do that.
Oh,
anyhow.
Daniel's a good one to talk to about that.
Okay. See, that's how it works. So, Jon suggests Dan McCoy to come on the podcast to talk about climate change. See, easy as that. If you don't want to write out your suggestion, you can also leave me a voicemail, and you can do that on the same homepage on the concretelogicpodcast.com. There's a little microphone in the bottom right-hand corner. You click on that, and it'll record your message, and then it sends that voicemail over to me. So you can do that as well. The next way you can do is you can donate to the show. So if you get some value out of the show, there's a donation or support button in the upper right-hand side of the homepage of the Concrete Logic Podcast and .com, the homepage. If you click on that button, a PayPal page pops up, and you can enter any amount, and any amount is appreciated. And the last couple of episodes, we've had some donations, so I appreciate when folks do that, and any amount helps out. And I will also...
That rhymed.
Oh, wow. I didn't even mean to do that. And then I'll announce your name on there, and you can leave me a message when you submit the donation. If you want to write me a note, something you want me to say on there, I will do it. So, and then the last
2 donations from...
you got to listen to the episode. So by the time you...
Sorry.
Yeah. So you get the full thing. And then the last way is concretelogicacademy.com or concreteschool.co. That's what we did was we took the same topics that we discuss on here, and we expanded them more. So you can go on there, become a member of Concrete Logic Academy. There's a bunch of courses on there that you can take. There's quizzes attached to these courses as well. And there's also different, references, white papers. There's a way for you to post your own questions. If you got questions you want to discuss on there, you can post things that you want to share with other members. So it's a cool little platform for concrete folks. So check
How
that
many
out.
members do you have now?
Over 60 as of recording right now, 60 something. So it's
Wow,
growing.
that's pretty good, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Oh, proud.
Yeah. So let's get into the topic at hand. So what we're going to talk about is what we get wrong about the concrete maturity method. So John, if you want to, I guess, get us started and give us a refresher. I think y'all are going to have to look this up. I think it was episode 96 that it was a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Understanding the maturity measured in concrete construction.
yeah. So we did talk about that way back then, if you want to go back and listen to that one, but we didn't really talk about what we get wrong with the maturity method. So we're going to discuss that today, but let's just do a refresher. What is the maturity method?
Right. So the maturity method is a way for us to approximate concrete strength. Do you want to share my shtick? I mean, most of the folks are going to be listening and they can't see.
Yeah. Whatever you want to do. If you want to share.
The great thing about this, folks, is Seth is going to have this on the Concrete Logic Academy in some form. So you'll be able to see all these slides and the references. And when that's going to be, it'll be at a later date. But yeah, I don't think I need to share these slides, Seth.
Okay. Just walk us through it. So what is the maturity method?
Sure, and it's based off of ASTM 1074. Great read, and I believe it was authored by a guy named Nicholas J. Carino. It's about 11 pages, pure poetry. And the definition of maturity is concrete of the same mix at the same maturity has approximately the same strength, whatever combination of temperature and time to make up said maturity.
Uh-huh.
So if I have a certain concrete, I don't know, let's say a 658 total cementitious at a water cementitious ratio of a 0.45, and I'm mixing it in Colorado during the dog days of summer. At 4 hours from when water touches cement, it's going to reach a certain strength. That evaluation of temperature and time, temperature and time to give us a certain strength, we call that maturity. If I take that same mix and I produce it and use it in the well of winter, when it's like -10 to 20 degrees outside, Fahrenheit, it's going to take us a lot more time to reach that temperature to get that strength and maturity.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm doing this with my hands, there's an area under that curve, under that temperature and time curve that we call maturity.
Right.
Right? No matter what happens, you've got to get the area under that curve. So if the temperature is not high enough, then you need more time. If the temperature is really, really high, you don't need that much time.
So just simply put, the maturity method is a way to estimate early age concrete strength based on concrete's temperature history over time. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay.
I would take the word estimate out. Maybe it is a good word. I like to use the word approximate.
Okay.
Approximate. I don't like using the word predict. Dangerous.
Yeah.
Now, where do we go wrong?
Yep.
There's something called the datum temperature. We're using two equations here. One of them is called the time temperature. The other one is called the Arrhenius equation. or the Arrhenius method, or equivalent age method. Not the topic for our discussion today. We're going to talk about the time temperature factor. And in it is this little variable. And before we were talking, or before we started this, Seth said, I showed him the equation, and Seth said, go ahead, Seth.
Oh, I said back in when I was in college eons ago, when I saw that math pop up on the screen, like, in class, that's when I decided that I wasn't supposed to be there, because it was like, yeah, that doesn't look interesting to me whatsoever. So that's when I thought I was going to be an engineer, like a legit engineer like you.
And I think you are a legit engineer. You just don't have the letters after your name.
Yeah.
But an engineer, the definition of engineer is a problem solver, and that's what we're doing right now. So the equation that Seth was talking about was the equation to determine the area under the curve, or said maturity. Hold on, baby. Hold on 1 second. What's going on, Lovey? Sorry about that, baby girl. You turned that thing up again, didn't you?
I didn't. Keep going.
So the equation that Seth is talking about is maturity equals the time that you're looking at, like the temperature that instantaneously happens, your snapshot in time, minus something called the datum temperature, times your change in time. And Seth looked at that and said, oh, hell no. Now, that's just one piece of it. You have to relate that to strength. But in that equation, which is a delta T, a change in temperature, your time and temperature minus your datum temperature, the datum temperature is what most people assume incorrectly, or totally effing ignore it.
What is datum temperature?
Datum temperature is the minimum temperature that you need to kick off the kinetics of cement hydration. I'm dumbing it down, or I'm not, I'm
simplifying
squishing it.
Dumbing it down for me, simplifying it for all those that are listening.
For the equivalent age method, which is the other method that we use, it doesn't use that. It uses something called activation energy. And what that means is there needs to be a certain amount of energy that the concrete has, or the cement has, through hydration for the maturity to take off. Anything below that temperature or below that activation energy, concrete falls asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't wake up, doesn't start gaining strength, and if it does, it's very low and slow. Cool?
Got it.
Okay. So when I say ASTM is amazing, there are some awesome quotes in it. And again, I used to have the privilege and the pleasure of working with Nicholas J. Carino at ASTM. And not only is he a great author, he is a humble editor who devotes a crap load of time. So in that, at the middle section of ASTM C1074, it says, for the datum temperature, for a type 1 cement without admixtures in a curing temperature range from 0 to 40 degrees Celsius, the recommended datum temperature is 0 degrees Celsius. For other conditions, and when maximum accuracy of the strength estimation is desired, The appropriate datum temperature can be determined approximately or experimentally according to the procedures in Appendix X1.
That's a lot.
Well, the first sentence is what matters most. Who has a concrete that has a type 1 cement at a water cementitious ratio of a 0.40 without admixtures and a curing temp from 0 to 40 degrees Celsius? It's just... So what does datum temperature mean? If I took that type 1 cement to a type 3, it's a faster setting cement.
Mm-hmm.
My datum temperature is lower, meaning because I'm using a finer cement that kicks off like a bat out of hell when I add water to it, it can set up in lower temperatures, or that maturity cycle can happen in lower temperatures. Now, if I'm using something like a type 2 cement, or what is that, a type 5? Or let's go to an oil well cement that is, the grainness of it's huge, they're coarse grains. It needs a higher temperature, higher datum temperature to start kicking off the activation energy. Or the maturity process. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mix up words. And that's why the oil well cement guys use them, because they're going underground where there's a lot higher pressures as well as a lot higher temperatures, especially with the amount that they're pumping and things colliding and blah, blah, blah.
So they want the concrete to be liquid longer. Yeah.
Because if we gave them a type 3 cement, it would harden in the line because the datum temperature, or excuse me, the temperature is hotter. So it's going to set up faster. That's the thing with concrete and cementitious materials. Temperature begets temperature. Hydration kicks off hydration.
Mm-hmm. So are you saying that we just need to make sure that we are setting our maturity method? Maybe I think what you're getting at is that there's going to be a different graph for each type of these concrete mixes, right? So you need to do. Let's remind everyone how we set up the maturity method, well, is that one of the things we get wrong?
No,
am I jumping in?
Yes, but
yeah.
No, you said it perfectly. This is why I said you just don't have the freaking letters.
Yeah.
You're an engineer, man. You saw it. It's not that we have a different graph. It's we create a different graph and the wrong graph when we don't use the right datum temperature.
Right.
So let's say for our mix that you and I are using on an elevator shaft on one of your job sites. I'm just going to guess, but you guys have pretty strict form turning schedules.
Right.
And if I was the project manager, at least for that phase of the project, I would want to use maturity so I can turn my forms as fast as possible, one, and two, validate the strengths that I'm getting from my lab. Right? That's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I do those incorrectly, the second one, or assuming the wrong long-term strength. Now I can core, I can rebound ham, I can Windsor probe. It's bad and it might cause unnecessary lawsuits or coring, but it's not L or D, life or death. With item number 1, if I tell my crew to move forms at the wrong time, I mean, that's why we started using maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 40s and 50s, we had some tragic accidents happen within a 5-year period because folks were pulling forms out deck forms out a lot sooner than they should. And that just, people died. There was a major disaster in Greenwood Village, Colorado back in like 2007, 2008 timeframe, where they pulled forms too early and people.
Yeah.
So again, it goes back to why we use maturity and what we have to be careful of. So with that datum temperature, the reminder is it's the minimum temperature needed to kick off the kinetics of cement hydration. So if we assume the wrong datum temperature and we're trying to pull forms, we can assume, so we're starting at 0. I can assume a datum temperature that's way too low, negative 10 degrees Celsius, and way too high, plus 10 degrees Celsius. Remember, our actual was at 0.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If I say my datum temperature is really low, that means my cement can take off like a bat out of hell, like the type 3. If I say my datum temperature is really high, that means I have a very coarse grained or slow setting, or it needs that temperature to kick off. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So if I tell my maturity logger that the datum temperature is really, really low, it'll change the graph by pushing it up. It'll tell me to strip forms too early.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens if I strip forms too early?
People get hurt.
Right. Now, if I choose the opposite, and now instead of telling me to strip forms way too early, it tells me to strip forms instead of at 8 hours, at 24 hours. What's happening now?
Could impact your schedule.
Your critical path.
Right.
And 24 hours, folks, when I'm supposed to rip and strip at 8, my boss, Seth, is going to friggin' roast me. What do you mean we're waiting 24 hours? Fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So by putting the cost into the datum temperature, not only can we stay consistent with our critical path, but we, protect our laborers.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
Now, questions about that before I go into long-term impact?
Yeah. To determine datum temperature. So when you set up the concrete or the maturity method, you take samples of the concrete mix that you're going to use, and you break them at certain intervals of time, and you're putting in the maturity meter inside each one of these cylinders, and you're recording the temperature when you break these, and that's forming your graph. Am I skipping a step?
No, sir. Yeah. That sounded very pretentious. Let me say that again. Yes, that is correct. Yeah. That sounded very yacht.
Well, you've been a teacher at school now, and you're a professor at school, so.
Yeah. Academically, that is correct. The part that you're skipping is you're not skipping, you're mushing two parts together.
Uh-huh.
So you're right. You do need compressive strengths at a certain time and temperature to relate to your maturity curve.
Right.
That's something that you need. But the datum temperature, as it said in that definition before, it's a separate method where you're not doing concrete strengths, you're doing mortar cubes.
Okay.
And you are casting those mortar cubes in 3 different temperatures.
Okay.
The temperature that you're placing the concrete at normally, and plus and minus temperatures around that.
So this needs to be done before you do the cylinders, right? So the mortar.
That's what the other course is about.
And how long does that take?
Oh my gosh, 32 days at a minimum.
Okay.
And that's if you have like a fully functioning lab.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to get at there.
$15,000 to $25,000.
And you got to do it each time you plan on using the method, or
the method. It has to be for the mix with the raw materials, and it should be what time of year to get your temperature swings. Shouldn't be more than like a 20-30 degree temperature swing, plus or minus 10 degrees from your control or your zero.
Okay. So you might have a winter mix and a summer mix that you need to do.
2
Yeah.
totally different datum temperatures or activation energies.
Okay. All right. I think that's an important point. I think that's one of the things we mess up.
And if people say, "Oh, it's expensive, $15,000, $25,000 a mix." If you've got a major project, this shouldn't be done for residential homes. It should only be done when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
That $15,000 will disappear quickly if you get your project done in 1 week, 2 weeks early.
Right.
One day, 2 days early.
Yeah, on a big project, that's nothing.
But for some reason, I don't need to set myself up for a lawsuit. But if you look at any of these, let's use Pareto's law. 80% of the maturity companies out there don't even give you the option for datum temperature or activation energy. They assume it for you. And the ones that did, like, I've got the old IntelliRock.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Concrete Logic Podcast. If you got value from the show, here's how you can provide value back to support the show. Visit concretelogicpodcast.com and click the donate button to send value back. All dollar amounts are truly appreciated. And now, to close out the show, here's Mike Dunton.
Ring, ring, that alarm always sings. Couple hours before the sun comes up. Open up the side, put some diesel in the lights, and wait till the trucks roll up. Yeah, this ain't how most folks live their lives. Dripping in sweat, working overtime. But while they're tying their ties for their 9 to 5s, we're out here changing these skylines with wood, iron, and mud. We work hard for $1, give thanks to the Lord above. Never make a man do something you can't prove. Hard work calls for a drink or two. Expect more, it's written in our blood. With wood, iron, and mud. From the swamps to the city, from the Lone Star heat to the woods of the Georgia pine. Good old boys and girls who ain't afraid of getting dirty for a clean time. And if you want to see the fire in a grown man's eyes beneath the hot summer sun, find the wild-eyed boys clocking days and nights, working hard to get that job done with wood, iron, and mud. We work hard for $1, give thanks to the Lord above. The color of our collars ain't white or blue. We're all gray collar through and through. Expect more, it's written in our blood. With wood, iron, and mud. proof.